Look around your life for a moment. Is there a guitar in the corner you stopped playing? A half-built website you never finished? A box of art supplies collecting dust? Maybe you went through a phase of cooking, then photography, then suddenly you needed to learn martial arts for some reason. And now you look at all of it, and you feel something. Not pride, shame, someone who cannot commit to anything. And the worst part is, you believed them. Because the world gave you a label. They called you unfocused, scattered. But what if everything you were told about this was completely wrong? What if that graveyard of hobbies is not evidence of your failure, but evidence of something happening inside your brain that most people will never understand? Stay with me, because what I am about to tell you will change how you see yourself forever. Jack of all trades, master of none. You have used it to beat yourself up more times than you can count. But here is what nobody ever told you. That is not the full quote. The complete quote is this: a jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. Someone cut off the second half of that quote, and the world just accepted the shorter version. And millions of people have been punishing themselves with an incomplete sentence ever since. What is actually happening in your brain? Here is what psychology actually says about people like you. That feeling of being pulled in 100 different directions is not a character flaw. It is actually a sign of a highly advanced nervous system doing exactly what it was designed to do. Your brain is not failing to focus. Your brain is preparing you for something, but preparing you for what exactly? Hold that thought. For most of the last century, the world rewarded one type of person, the specialist. You studied one subject, you mastered one skill, you stayed in one lane, and the world gave you a stable job and a predictable life. That world is gone. The rules are changing faster than any specialist can keep up with. The specialist who spent a decade mastering one skill wakes up one morning and finds out that skill is now obsolete, and your brain knew this was coming. That is why it kept pulling you in new directions. Your brain was not being chaotic, it was being smart. But here is the part that nobody talks about, and this is where it gets really interesting. The real superpower. There is a concept in psychology called far transfer. Specialists use something called near transfer. They see a problem and solve it using tools they already know. But you use far transfer. You take an idea from one completely unrelated world and apply it to a totally different one. Imagine a web developer who used to be a beekeeper and a farmer before they ever touched a computer. They are not just writing code. They are thinking about it in a completely different way. That is your superpower. Not depth in one area, but the ability to connect dots that nobody else can even see. You feel like an imposter because you are not the best at any single thing, but you are looking at your value the wrong way. Your value is not in how deep you go in one direction. Your value is in what happens when all those different directions start talking to each other. Now here is where most people watching this will recognize themselves, and it is going to sting a little. Why you still feel behind. Understanding that your curiosity is a superpower feels good in theory, but it does not fix the pain you feel when you look at people your age who seem so far ahead. They have the job title, the clear career path, the focused identity, and you are still bouncing between interests, wondering when you are finally going to figure it out. Here is why that happens. You have been misreading the shape of your own potential. Most people think in terms of a T-shape, general knowledge across the surface with one deep specialty going straight down. But you are not T-shaped. You are M-shaped. He M-shape has multiple pillars of depth, not just one, connected across the top by a bridge of curiosity that links everything together. The problem is, you cannot build all the pillars of the M at the same time. If you try to master data science while writing a novel, all in the same month, you will collapse under the weight of it. So how do people like you actually win? The strategy that changes everything. The people who figure this out stop thinking about their life as one long straight line. They start thinking about it in seasons. One season is dedicated to going deep in one area, then the next season shifts. Not because you quit, but because that chapter of building is complete. Think about someone who spent their 20s deep in music and art, then in their 30s shifted into programming because they needed to pay the bills. They did not abandon art. They finished that season. And now, both pillars exist inside them at the same time. I heard a story about a man who was 53 years old and finally stopped fighting himself. He let programming be the pillar that paid the bills. He protected his working hours fiercely, and on evenings and weekends, music philosophy and game design got to breathe. And eventually, something unexpected happened. All those separate worlds started merging on their own into something completely unique, something only he could have made, because only he had lived all of those seasons. But there is still one more piece to this, and this might be the most important thing I tell you today: the biological reason. In nature, there is a concept called redundancy. Redundancy sounds like a waste, like doing the same thing twice for no reason. But in biology, redundancy is one of the most powerful survival mechanisms that exists. Elephants almost never get cancer. Do you know why? Because they have multiple copies of the same cancer-fighting genes. Your interests are your redundancy. If you are only a software engineer and artificial intelligence takes over your role, you have nothing to fall back on. But if you are a software engineer who also knows electrical work and teaching and design, you are unbreakable. You were not wasting time when you bounced between interests. You were building a safety net so strong that no disruption can ever leave you with nothing. So here's what I want you to actually hear. That graveyard of half-finished projects is not a graveyard at all. Every single one of those interests was a semester in a university that only you attended. The guitar taught you discipline and creativity and how to sit with frustration until something beautiful came out. The half-built website taught you systems and logic and what it feels like to build something from nothing. None of it was wasted. All of it is inside you, and all of it is slowly connecting into something the world has not seen yet. You were never meant to be just one thing. You were built to be the bridge between worlds that other people cannot even see. The only question now is whether you are going to keep apologizing for that or start using it. You do not need to be a different person to start. You just need to start. The person you are becoming is built one small action at a time. So today, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Today, take one small step, just one, and then do it again tomorrow. That is it. That is the whole thing. Subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because I make videos like this every week. If this video helped you, give it a thumbs up. It helps other people find these ideas too. I read every single comment and I love hearing about your progress. You just need to start thinking differently. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.